G7 foreign ministers are mulling ways to curb the revenues Russia gains from exporting oil and gas. In a new joint declaration, ministers from Canada, the United States, Italy, France, Germany, the United Kingdom and the European Union say they're considering targeting the transportation of Russian oil not purchased below a set price. SABC News correspondent Rosie Birchard reports from Brussels.
G7 ministers are accusing Russia of trying to use energy as a weapon and a tool for geopolitical coercion, something that Russia denies. But as Moscow and Brussels trade sanctions and counter-sanctions over the war in Ukraine, some experts say that gas is really the Kremlin's trump card here. Now, the European Union has built up long-term dependencies on Russia for its energy supplies. And earlier this year, the EU's foreign policy chief presented some pretty stark figures. He showed that in late February and in March, in the wake of the war in Ukraine breaking out, EU countries paid 35 billion euros for Russian fossil fuels compared to 1 billion euros sent in aid to Ukraine. Now, since then, aid to Kiev has increased, sanctions on Moscow have been expanded, and the bloc has been frantically trying to wean itself off Russian energy. Brussels has, for example, signed new oil and gas import deals with countries including Algeria and Egypt. But the issue still remains that, as Ukraine puts it, European countries which keep purchasing Russian fuel, Russian oil and gas, are helping the Kremlin to fund its war machine in Ukraine. Now G7 countries are trying to work out how to limit the profits Russia can make from its energy exports. They say they're considering banning the transportation of Russian oil unless it was bought at or below a price that the G7 would agree with its international partners. In the past, Moscow has denounced these kind of sanctions as daylight robbery. G7 countries, on the other hand, say it's simply a response to what they describe as Russia's brutal and unjustified invasion of Ukraine. Rosie Birchard, SABC News, Brussels.